Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
New York becomes the 16th state to fully legalize recreational marijuana. Matt Kleindinst is in Corning tonight with local reaction.
Good evening, Scott. I spoke with a couple residents today who are fully behind legalization, saying marijuana should be looked at the same way we look at alcohol. However, local lawmakers are not convinced and have come out fully against legalization.
Announce the results.
Ayes 100, noes 49.
The bill is passed.
With that vote, recreational marijuana is now officially legal in the state of New York. In a statement released last night, Governor Cuomo hailed the landmark legislation, saying it provides justice to marginalized communities, embraces an industry to boost the economy, and establishes safeguards for the public. Two residents I spoke with agree with the bill, saying it should be treated the same way as alcohol.
I think it's an excellent idea. More families have been destroyed with alcohol than they have been with marijuana.
It's no different than alcohol. That's legal, but yet still there are ways they are compounding it. You have to do the same thing with marijuana.
Not everyone is in universal agreement. Local lawmakers Tom O'Mara and Phil Palmisano both released statements against legalization. O'Mara cited concerns from law enforcement, educators, and public health experts saying, quote, "We should pay attention to these warnings and not move forward while there remains uncertainties over potential consequences." Palmisano says the potential safety concerns outweigh future economic gains. Fred Moore says whether you're for or against recreational marijuana, one thing is clear.
The government said it's okay, well, it's okay.
Matt Kleindinst, Big Fox, WYDC in Corning.
The U.S. gets one step closer to vaccinating children against COVID-19, and more states expand vaccine eligibility as new infections rise. Jonathan Siri has more.
Pfizer announcing today its COVID-19 shot is 100% effective in preventing the virus in children ages 12 to 15. In a study of more than 2,200 participants, no one who received the vaccine developed the virus. The drug maker says the children experienced no serious side effects.
We need kids to do these trials so that kids can get protected. I think vaccinating kids has always been front of our mind. It is really critical to keep kids safe.
Pfizer's vaccine is currently authorized for emergency use in people 16 and older. Public health officials are hopeful the shot could be cleared for use in children before the next school year.
You can't get to herd immunity without vaccinating young adolescents and children. And this is a huge step in the right direction. It's a huge step towards schools reopening.
Nearly 40 states have now announced plans to open up vaccinations to all adults by mid-April. Public health officials are facing added pressure to vaccinate as COVID-19 cases rise. The 7-day average of new infections is up about 13% from 2 weeks ago, while the average number of deaths is up nearly 10%. Federal officials blame the spike in part on states easing COVID-19 restrictions, and they're pleading with governors to keep mask mandates in place.
When you're seeing states roll back mask mandates, that's not abiding by public health guidelines. We're also conveying that clearly to businesses, to local leaders.
Pfizer says it plans to submit data from its adolescent vaccine trial to the FDA as soon as possible. In Atlanta, Jonathan Siri, Fox News.
Governor Cuomo announced new guidelines that would allow for fans to attend college sporting events starting Friday. Indoor arenas with more than 1,500 seats will be allowed to have 10% capacity, while outdoor venues seating 2,500 or more can have 20% capacity. Smaller colleges will be allowed to have 2 fans per athlete or follow state-mandated social gathering guidelines, depending on the venue setting. Fans will be required to show proof of COVID vaccination or a negative test prior to entry. Reports of anti-Asian hate crimes are up in New York City this year, and some Asian-run martial arts organizations say they're seeing an influx of new customers interested in learning self-defense. Jenna DeAngelis has more.
So someone's attacking you from behind, gets you in trouble.
Step by step, siblings Nidaime and Meg Nakamura are showing self-defense skills they teach at Seido Karate.
Body position, how you carry yourself, how you look at somebody. All of those things will help you in your self-defense to even prevent it from happening in the first place.
And with a rise in anti-Asian hate crimes, martial arts schools like the Chinese Hawaiian Kempo Academy are seeing a greater interest.
Typical week, we might get a handful of inquiries. The past 2 weeks, it's been, I would say, quadruple that.
In response to the violence, offering free self-defense seminars.
Self-defense is really not so much about knowing how to hurt another person. It's really knowing how and when to get out of harm's way.
But if need be, showing how you can use what you have on hand for protection, like a water bottle.
So winding up and then dropping it straight down.
But what if you witness an attack? The NYPD says call 911 immediately. Nonprofit, the Center for Anti-Violence Education teaches ways you can step in, of course situation-based, in its free workshops.
Distraction is a really nice tool if you don't want to directly engage the aggressor.
Sharing a common theme among the Asian American community.
They feel alone in this. And so if there are other New Yorkers that witness this, do say something, even if it's not directly to the aggressor. Just make eye contact and saying, this is really messed up. I'm so sorry this happened. Change that culture, if that makes sense.
Use your voice, and more than often than not, there are going to be others that agree with your sentiment, and that's when something can happen.
Those we spoke to encourage more than one self-defense class, saying the more ingrained the skills are, the better prepared you'll be if in harm's way.
Day 3 of testimony in the murder trial of former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin. Witnesses include an off-duty firefighter and a store employee from Cup Foods. Daryl Forges is in Minneapolis with the latest.
Day 3 of testimony Wednesday, beginning with more from the off-duty Minneapolis firefighter who begged police to let her render aid to George Floyd last May.
Your assessment of his medical condition at that time, did you believe he needed immediate medical attention?
Yes, sir.
The next witness, a Cup Foods employee, interacted with Floyd in the store, said Floyd seemed under the influence.
When I had asked him if he played baseball, he went on to respond to that, but it kind of took him a little long to get to what he was trying to say, so it would appear that he was high.
Other witnesses Tuesday describing the panic and emotions they felt watching police on Floyd that day.
It was difficult because I felt like there wasn't really anything I could do as a bystander. The highest power was there, and I felt like I was feeling it.
The prosecution painting a picture of neglectful and uncaring police. Chauvin's defense attorney, however, arguing an emotional crowd was distracting and threatening to the officers. But witness Donald Williams, who is a mixed martial arts fighter, said the only threat that day came from the officers themselves.
I was totally scared for my safety and people around me.
In Minneapolis, I'm Daryl Forges.
Joseph Biggs, a leader of the right-wing Proud Boys organization, says the FBI contacted him numerous times over the years, including at least one call regarding Antifa. Biggs, who is charged with conspiracy in connection with the siege at the U.S. Capitol, says that proves he is no threat to the public and should not be jailed as he waits for trial. That's just one of the latest reports related to the January riot. Tom Foreman has more.
Another person whom investigators have tied to the Proud Boys, Paul Ray of Florida, is accused of entering a restricted building without lawful authority and engaging in disorderly or disruptive conduct. Legal speak for bursting into the Capitol and stopping the count of electoral votes. His attorney did not return CNN calls, but court records show about 20 people associated with the Proud Boys have now been charged in the riot, along with about a dozen linked to the Oath Keepers. Among the more serious accusations, that some helped plan and coordinate the attack, perhaps committing sedition. On 60 Minutes,
I believe the facts do support those charges, and I think that as we go forward, more facts will support that.
There are individuals charged who will face significant prison time based on their activities, whether they were violent, whether they were engaged in a conspiracy, or whether they were trying to prevent the certification of the election. Others will face much less significant penalties.
With almost 350 people already charged spread all across the country, the prosecution is complicated. Many are being released to await trial, including Eric Munchel, who authorities say was photographed in body armor carrying zip tie restraints. His mother was picked up too.
I am very worried about our country.
They have pleaded not guilty and will now be under house arrest. Yet even as prosecutors say one rioter called for the lynching of a black officer, former President Trump insists his followers meant no harm.
It was a zero threat. Right from the start, it was zero threat. Some of them went in and they're hugging and kissing the police and the guards. You know, they had great relationships.
A response from the mother of a Capitol Police officer badly injured in this scrum.
It's so dehumanizing, it's so devaluing, and it's outrageous.
Still ahead tonight, the state of Washington is looking into what they're calling more than 100 potential breakthrough infections. That is, people who've gotten COVID-19 after being fully vaccinated.
These vaccines are not 100%, so we are expecting that there will be some people that get COVID-19 despite vaccinations.
We'll look at the numbers of breakthrough patients in Washington and what it could mean for the rest of the country.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Your Big Fox forecast is brought to you by William Mattar. Good evening, everyone. I'm meteorologist Kim Walker with your weather update. We have a cold front that is pushing through the region right now, and behind it, much colder air will start to settle in, and that will result in our precipitation transitioning into snow. We do have a winter weather advisory in effect until tomorrow afternoon, late afternoon at that. Snow accumulations could be between 4 to 6 inches in some of our hometowns. That will cause some hazardous driving conditions, and with the snow falling, it could cause low visibility as well. And all of our hometowns are under that advisory. Temperatures today, even though we did warm up into the 50s, a lot cooler than it was yesterday. This afternoon, it was about 10 degrees cooler in Elmira, 7 in Corning, about 8 degrees cooler in Bath. This comes as a cold front is pushing through the region, and moisture is wrapping around that low pressure system, and we're on the colder side of it for tomorrow. And so that's why all that precipitation will be changing over to some snow, and we are expecting some heavy snow at times as well. So here's a look at your hour-to-hour planner. If you're planning to shovel tomorrow, it looks like the heaviest snow will be mainly in the mornings. Temperature-wise, it really won't be all that warm. 35 degrees at 10 o'clock and then 38 degrees as we head into the early afternoon, and then dropping down to the freezing mark by 6 o'clock in the evening. I'm expecting most of this activity to be ending by the end of the day on Thursday. So let's take a look at our future radar for tonight. There will be some rain-snow mix in some areas, but the snow really picks up as we head into early tomorrow morning. So notice at around 1 o'clock in the morning, there will be some snow coming into Hornell and Bath. Maybe in the warmer areas down to the south in Pennsylvania, there could be a few showers mixing in with snow, but then that colder air will start to move in the overnight, and that will result in all snow showers early tomorrow morning. But it looks like this heavier snow will start to push to the east by your morning commute. We are expecting a few more snow showers during your lunchtime, and then in the afternoon, even another round of snow could be possible before this low moves away into the Atlantic and too far away from us where we won't see the effects of it. But we are going to continue to have snow showers out of the system through the evening hours, early evening hours on Thursday, but by midnight, I think it should start to end. As we head into tonight, it is going to be quite cold, 30 degrees in Corning, 31 in Elmira. Highs tomorrow will be in the 30s as well, so we really don't warm up all that much. Our 7-day forecast calls for even colder conditions on Friday, but a big rebound as we head into the weekend as temperatures top out in the 50s.
The coronavirus that causes COVID-19 likely spread to people through an animal, but the origin of the virus still needs more study. That's according to a new report from the World Health Organization. Mandy Gaither has more in today's Health Minute.
In a new 120-page report, the World Health Organization outlines the theories into how the coronavirus started spreading around the globe, potentially as early as October 2019, before being detected in Wuhan, China.
Don't forget that Wuhan was a major international hub at that time with direct flight every day to most parts of the world.
Whether it started in Wuhan or elsewhere in China will still need further research, as will the origin of the virus. The report gives 4 possible sources: direct transmission from an animal, considered most likely transmission from an intermediate host animal infected by another animal like a bat. Another possible pathway, the virus spread through frozen food or an accidental leak from a laboratory.
Since this was not the key or main focus of the joint studies, it did not receive the same depth of attention and work as the other hypotheses.
But the WHO says of the 4 possible pathways, the lab theory ranked extremely unlikely.
Not saying that it was impossible, but not the one we would start initially going deeper into.
The WHO says it'll continue to look into all evidence and ideas about how the coronavirus started. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Getting infected with COVID-19 after being fully vaccinated is called vaccine breakthrough. Right now, the state of Washington is investigating at least 100 of those potential cases. Christine Pei reports.
It's now confirmed that a small number of people who've had full doses of the COVID vaccine and 2 weeks' time to gain immunity still tested positive. Dr. Scott Lindquist of the Washington State Department of Health explained further in a briefing last Thursday.
These vaccines are not 100%, so we are expecting that there will be some people that get COVID-19 despite vaccinations.
Those chances are very low. Clinical studies have shown current COVID-19 vaccines reduce infection risk by up to 95% compared to those who don't get the vaccine. Of the 1 million people fully vaccinated in Washington, the Department of Health is investigating 102 breakthrough infections. Of those, DOH says 8 people had to go to the hospital since February. And more alarming, DOH is investigating 2 potential breakthrough patients who died. They were older than 80 and had health issues. State Secretary of Health Dr. Umair Shah says this is a reminder that mask wearing and social distancing are critical even if you are fully vaccinated.
When a patient at a North Carolina hospital learned that he possibly only had days to live, there was one very important thing that he wanted to do before his time was up, and that was to marry the love of his life. Hospital staff and family helped make it happen. Sarah Kruger has the story.
When you find your soulmate, as Sarah Myler and Jeff Benesh did 9 years ago.
It ended up being very much love at first sight.
Even forever together doesn't feel like long enough.
We'll do absolutely anything for anybody. He's been a volunteer firefighter since he was 16.
Benesh has been hospitalized on and off for months with advanced congestive heart failure. Thursday, he learned he was not eligible for a heart transplant. That means he does not have much time left.
So they told us it could be days, it could be weeks, it could be months, it could be any time. They don't know.
So the couple acted fast. With the help of family and the Duke Hospital staff, the two had a wedding ceremony the next day outside the hospital.
It was important for us to have the moment together. I wanted that as a memory, and he wanted that as a memory.
A hospital minister presided over the ceremony. Nurses doubled as wedding coordinators.
And the nurses lined up chairs and made an aisle for me to walk down with Tool, and decorated his wheelchair, and they've decorated the back of our hospital room door with a whole just married sign.
Even though their moments as husband and wife will be few, Myler is focused on making them count.
It's what you do for the person you love. You're there for them, and you know it's till death do us part, but it's beyond that. It's just it's forever for us, forever, however long we have. It's forever for us.
Right now, a piece of paper is probably all the proof you have that you've been vaccinated against COVID-19. That's why Staples and Office Depot are helping to keep those vaccination cards safe by offering to laminate them for free. Staples says this service is available at all locations without an end date. The Office Depot offer is available at both Office Depot and Office Max locations through July 25th. Now, you must bring a copy of a coupon with your vaccine card to get that free lamination. The CDC suggests you take a picture of that vaccination card as a backup copy, but don't share that on social media where someone could get a hold of your personal information. Google Maps won't necessarily default you to get to your destination by the fastest way possible in the future. The company says instead, the navigation algorithm will soon automatically select the most fuel-efficient route. It will consider things like inclines and congestion to help you reduce your environmental impact. But they say don't worry about things taking longer. Google says it will only steer drivers to the greenest option when the estimated time of arrival is similar to your other options. In situations where that would bring you to your destination much later, the app will show you other choices and let you select which one you want to follow. You can expect that change later this year. It is the Easter season, and that means Peeps are just about everywhere. Love 'em or hate 'em, one Wisconsin museum is displaying them as marshmallow art. Jeremy Roth has today's Take a Look at This.
Peep this sweet and squishy exhibit at an art museum in Wisconsin. It features 138 pieces of art made from or inspired by Peeps candy. The works were submitted by 200 artists from around the country. The collection of confectionery creations includes everything from dioramas to sculptures to paintings. It's the 12th year of the seasonal contest in the city of Racine, and the very first Peeps piece, Greetings from Racine, is getting a permanent home at the museum. A fitting tribute to a mushy medium that celebrates the classic combo of tasty treats and barnyard animals. Speaking of which, a Montana resident became the main attraction when he was caught on camera horsing around inside a gas station in Bozeman. The company, Town Pump, shared the man's horseback hijinks on social media, along with a message basically reading, "Hey there, buckaroo, please dismount before you shop." I swear, some people just have to be the centaur of attention. It means half horse, half man. Look it up. Hey, think your job stinks? Well, this guy's job stings. An off-duty firefighter used his personal experience as a beekeeper to remove a swarm that had taken over a parked car at a New Mexico shopping center. The buzz is that the car's owner actually started to drive off before even noticing the swarm in the back seat. An estimated 15,000 bees were eventually removed and relocated safely. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
We want to leave you with a smile tonight. What would you do if you found a massive sum of cash, like thousands of dollars? A Goodwill employee in Oklahoma made sure it was returned to its rightful owner. Andrea Lessing was sorting through a pile of donations when she felt something odd between two sweaters. Well, it turned out it was stacks of cash, totaling $42,000. Instead of keeping the money, she had Goodwill track down the owner. Lessing says she wanted her 6-year-old daughter to see the importance of honesty. And as a reward, that owner of the lost cash let Lessing keep $1,000. Goodwill says it was one of the largest cash fines they had ever had. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great night.